From the snow-capped peaks of Cortina to the pulsing heart of Milan, the world has arrived, and the bench is officially empty. Welcome to Olympics from the Bench. Here we go beyond the primetime tape delay and the polished medal counts to bring you the real grit of the Winter Games. We're talking the locker room drama, the underdog heartbreak, and the ice-cold tactical breakdowns that you won't find anywhere else. Whether the return of the pros to the Olympic ice arena or the chaotic debut of ski mountaineering, we're covering every inch of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games with the humanity, curiosity, and the occasional hot take that only ETB can provide you. And now, here's your host, Callan McClurg. A day where the Goliaths of the winter world were pushed to the absolute brink and a Minnesota-born duo stood on the precipice of legend. Welcome, everybody. It is day number 5 officially in the books of the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics. And welcome into Olympics from the Bench. As always, live and in full on the ETB Network, live on social media, on YouTube, and, of course, on Twitter as well. We invite you to follow us on social media. We are at ETB Network, and, of course, subscribe to us over at youtube.com/ETB Network, and we will go from there on this now Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Today, though, folks, saw the North American rivalry not just heating up, but boiled over in Milan, watching Team USA's women's hockey team deliver a statement victory that felt more like a street fight than a group stage game, while Corey TC and Corey Dropkin took us to the absolute limit in a gold medal curling duel for the ages. From the high-speed ice of the oval to the razor-thin margins of the slope-style course, the stars came out. Heavyweight traded blows tonight, and the bench is now starting up here on this Tuesday evening. Again, folks, here on the program, we again give you a 30-minute deep dive and breakdown of the Milan-Cortina Olympics here every evening at 10:30 p.m. Pacific, 1:30 a.m. Eastern. In a way, kind of, recapping the previous day and now leading you in to another day of coverage for the Olympic Games over in Milan-Cortina. We'll start things off, folks, with our Nightly Podium segment here in our opening story in a heart-stopping mixed duels final today at the Cortina Curling Stadium for the Olympics. It is the Swedish sibling duo of both Isabella and Rasmus Vrano edging out Corey Ticey and Corey Dropkin of Team USA by a 6-5 final score. The match went back and forth, and Team USA holding a 5-4 lead going to the last end, but Isabella Warna delivered a masterclass with the final throw, scoring 2 points on the final stone to snatch the gold away from Team USA, though the loss might sting. This also marks the first ever Olympic medal for Team USA in mixed doubles curling with the Corey TC and Corey Dropkin team with the game today. This game, folks, went back and forth, as we kind of said earlier on. And we kind of knew, though, a little bit that they had already played each other earlier in the round-robin stage. And, sometimes it kind of, win now, win then, beat them when it counts the most, though. But also a little bit difficult, sadly, for Team USA being, sadly, with how the match went, kind of being on the wrong side of not having the last throw, which, again, is having the hammer. And they had a, claw out of, an early 2-0 hole, a 2-2 tie. Only getting 1 point here or there, though. And then, obviously, the Swedes were able to pull that out, though, late with the, again, amazing throw, though, by Isabella Vrano for that win for the Swedish national team earlier on Tuesday, where kind of in a way it felt like it was like almost deja vu a little bit from the Team USA match against Italy the night beforehand, involving the simple fact of every single time it felt like Team USA had it, had the match won or was going to win the end, Italy and Stefania Constantini seemed to always, pull a rabbit out of the hat and knock a stone out, give them the lead, not Team USA. And that kind of made me feel a little bit about this one today. Team USA leads 5-4. They maybe perhaps are a bit overzealous on the final throw that they have, knowing that they had to at least get one more, within the house. And obviously not having the advantage, though, of playing with that final throw and it's once more a clutch moment given by the final thrower for the Swedes. But once more, even with the loss, though, got to be proud, though, of what both Corey Teesey and Corey Dropkin did, in fact, accomplish. Again, it's the first ever medal for the Olympic team when it comes to mixed doubles curling. And again, they basically won over everybody. It was so fun whenever NBC would cut to the watch party they would be having in Minnesota or in Florida for both Teesey and for Dropkin. So hats off and a salute to both Corey Teesey and to Corey Dropkin, who now have to turn their focus now to the men's and women's tournament now for curling. Story number 2, folks, defending champion Alex Hall laid down a massive 85.75 on his second run at the Levingo Snow Park today for his run in the slopestyle event today, while Norway's Birk Ruud proved untouchable, though scoring an 86.28 on the very first pass to reclaim the top spot. And New Zealand's Luca Harrington surged onto the platform too, or podium, I should say, with a clutch final run of 85.15 today in that event, where, again, Alex Hall just bumped out, though, by Norway, who, again, we know, though, folks, with Norway, and we won't go too far in depth here until we get actual concrete data and information. We do know that there are, though, a few events right now under some fire and scrutiny from fans and from some of the media in Italy concerning the Norwegian national team when it's come to a few things of tomfoolery with maybe some cheating going on. We're waiting for more concrete details about if any punishment does come down with that. We don't want to really, overly speculate, though, what we have been hearing, though. Obviously, it has made the rounds in the news, though, as the last couple days have gone on. But again, Norway's Birk Ruud takes the lead and the medal for the slopestyle event at 86.28. Team USA's Alex Hall goes 85.75, and New Zealand's Luca Harrington goes 85.15. Norway, Team USA, New Zealand, 1, 2, 3 in that pecking order. But the big story, though, folks, today, and it's the headline, though, of our show today, it is all about Team USA's Ashley Farquharson, who broke through the German wall to claim bronze in women's singles luge with a total time of 3:31.582. She joins Erin Hamlin as the only other American woman to ever medal in the Olympic luge event, while once again, Germany stands on top of the mountaintops again for the luge event, with Julia Tobitz of Germany finally securing her first individual Olympic gold medal after 4 dominant runs. But once more, Team USA, folks, and again, I have long said, and I've been saying this stuff for the entirety here of our coverage here on ETB for the Olympics. The luge is one event that does scare me just because of the stories that we have heard, as I've already said, though. But to see the emotion today of Ashley Farquharson, unbelievable. I mean, what a moment of what that means, not just for Ashley, but for Team USA luge, though. In a sport that is really much, I think we all agree here, European domination is normally that, and mainly the German wall. We said that, though, last night here on OFTB. Speed skating is all about the Netherlands. The luge, in a way, has kind of been all about the German national team, men's side, women's side, though. And, it may not be gold. It may not be silver, for that matter. But a bronze medal, it's the second one ever in Team USA luge history, and it goes to Ashley Farquharson, which, again, is the title of our show, because there is a running ritual, you can kind of say, about Ashley saying, "I'm a bad bitch," 3 different times before she does, in fact, go down the track, as her, locking in her mindset. And I mean, no one can take that away from her now. And so cool. Again, obviously, we know about Erin Hamlin's very great career, though, with Team USA. But, I think, though, more importantly, it's awesome when you see a member of your confederation and your delegation win a medal in an event that probably a lot of people, much like with any Olympic Games, we all act like we know what's going on, and a lot of us do, some don't, but we still watch to support, the athletes out there. And when it's a luge event, though, or an event like this, and you don't really know what's going on, though, but you love the speed. I think she even came around 80 miles an hour on her run today, or pretty damn close to it, though. 3 minutes, 31 seconds, and 0.582 on the time to, again, join Erin Hamlin's the only American women to ever luge medal. So bravo, Ashley Farquharson, again, for a stellar run, and more importantly, again, kind of breaks through the German wall in the German vice that, again, the luge has been a part of. And as I, again, backtracking to last night, we said the same thing in a roundabout way concerning the simple fact about the Dutch national team with women's speed skating. And now here again with the German national team, men's and women's with luge. So breakthrough performance there for Ashley Farquharson. Absolutely amazing. In 3 minutes, 31 seconds and 5:82 on that ending time. But once more, Julia Tobitz of Germany secures her first individual Olympic gold after 4 dominant runs. Again, it's a lot of, Germany is here. Everybody else is here in these events right now. But again, Germany goes number 1 and Team USA goes number 3 in the luge today as they continue their events up in the mountaintops up in Milan-Cortina this evening after a great first or a great day once more of the Olympics from Italy. By the numbers, folks, the medal count has been updated here after another day of competition. Team USA claiming more medals over the course of the Tuesday over in Italy. Norway goes number 1, followed by the Swedes, the Germans, Team USA, Japan, and Italy, 1 through 6 when it comes to the medal count. For Norway, 4 golds, 1 silver, and 2 bronze for 7 total medals. The Swiss national team, 3 golds, 1 silver, and 1 bronze for 5 medals. Same with Team Germany, 3 golds, 1 silver, and 1 bronze for 5. Team USA picks up a silver and another bronze medal. They go 2, 3, and 2 for 7 medals. 2, 2, and 3 for Japan, and 1, 2, and 6 for Italy, who is in the top 6 right now. Norway leads the full gold medal count thanks to Burke Ruud's victory today. Italy has the highest number of overall medals at 9, but their lack of gold medals is starting to become the lead story, though, in the local papers. And today's haul for Team USA was 3 of them, 2 silvers plus the 1 bronze, keeps the USA tied for second, though, in total medals at this rate. And still, though, just 2 back, though, of the Norwegian national team for the top spot in the medal count after the 5th day of competition from Milan-Cortina. To our ETB performance of the night, though, folks, back to the hockey rink. Aaron Frankel does it again, a 20-shot safe shutout, the first time that Canada's ever been shut out, though, in the Olympic hockey event for women's hockey. 20 saves in the game for Aaron Frankel, who I got to tell you, folks, this game, we'll talk more about it here right now with Team USA dominating the Canadian national team. 5-0 Team USA women complete the 4-game sweep of the Group A played. Hannah Bilka scores twice, while Caroline Harvey and Abby Murphy both scored their first goal of the games. Or Harvey scored, and also Abby Murphy had a dominant game today over the course of the day, drawing 4 different penalties for Team USA to set up power play chances. And again, more history. Layla Edwards becomes the first Black woman to score for Team USA in Olympic hockey. I got to tell you, folks, obviously I'm watching the hockey event for both men's and women's very, very closely, as, of course, my time in the American Hockey League and around the sport for the last 18 years. I have never once seen a Canadian women's national team look so lifeless. Now, I only say that, and I know, well, hey, it's cool for right now. Here's the reason, though. They did not have Marie-Philippe Palander, team captain, playing today's game. Marie-Philippe happened to get hurt in the last game that they played just 24 hours prior versus the Czechs. She got hit along the boards, and both of her legs kind of got tied up during the hit that was made. Now, again, there are some, there's, and this is very confusing, I know. They have a hybrid system right now when it comes to body checking and bodily contact in the women's hockey game. They have made some calls for what they're calling illegal body checks, but they're working on adding a bit more physical play to the game, but not overly egregious physical play as we're used to with the NHL or the men's side of things, though. But MPP got hit, though, went a little bit awkwardly into the boards, stayed out there for a bit longer, worked over the course of a power play, and then went back to the bench and was in clear pain, wincing, went back to the locker room. And who would have thought, though, one player's presence not being on Canada's roster, loaded with PWHL talent, loaded with household names, they get their worst Olympic loss 5-0 at the hands of Team USA. By the way, if you were to go back to the rivalry series game or series that took place leading up to the Olympic Games, I believe now it's 5 straight American victories over Team Canada, which I'm shocked at. And I frankly, folks, don't know where I pinpoint this. Is it the younger infusion of players like a Bilka, a Harvey, a Frankel, a Gwen Phillips, an Abby Murphy, a Britta Curl Salame? Maybe. Is Canada right? Is Canada too heavily relying on the vets? Poulin, Stacy, Sarah Nurse. I love, Anna Renee Desbins is one of my favorite international goalies, but she looked really lost today. So I don't know if it's the contrasting of styles, though, with how John Robleski and Team USA went about building their roster, with the savvy vets of your Knights and Coins and Kellers of the world, though, injecting young life. Is that maybe what puts them over the top in 2026? Who really knows? But the domination, 15-1, Team USA outscoring the opposition. No goals allowed in the last 3 games. And again, shutouts for Frankel twice, a shutout on Monday for Gwen Phillips. Statement win for Team USA. Could not be more stunned by what has gone on. So they clinched the top overall seed going into the medal round play and the bracket play coming up here. And I want to again spotlight Caroline Harvey, who scored the opening goal. Hannah Bilka had 2 beautiful goals, and Abby Murphy was an absolute beast out there today. I mean, I think you probably have seen the replay, folks. If you rewatch the game and watch the second goal that they set up, that's a botch pass by the Canadian defense in their half of the rink, all the way back into a sidewall corner. Abby Murphy makes a no-look pass, backhand style, only to where Hannah Bilka, along with Hillary Knight, are crashing the net, and Bilka just, a nice little snapshot, top shelf. And the replay was just like, how does Abby Murphy know there's going to be somebody there? Not just that, though. Abby Murphy was a pest today, drawing 4 different penalties, mixing up those with certain players. So I have loved Abby Murphy's game so far, and she does not look terrified at all, or those rookie jitters of being a first-time Olympian. So hats off to how Team USA has played so far, and hopefully that can keep going forward for Team USA on the women's hockey side of things, with the men finally starting play on Thursday against Latvia at 12:10 in the afternoon. All right, one quick comment from our good man, Zan Bando, who's up late right now in Illinois. He says, hey, Cal, what do you think has been the best event so far? Good work as always, man. A brother, appreciate you very much for the kind words. Obviously, Zan, I'll be biased towards hockey, but I love watching any of the Olympics, and thankfully with Gold Zone, you can kind of, walk, hop around, Again, I like I said, though, the last couple of days in, I know a little bit more about curling, I think, because of, the fact locally here in town, a lot of the rinks actually have the curling targets on the hockey rinks here locally in town. I'd stay and watch a couple times or whatnot. But I think those I just kind of, marvel about the whole spectacle of the Olympic Games more than just maybe a single event. Sean White was my guy, having, with him being from San Diego. So I always love snowboarding. Chloe Kim, by the way, folks, will be going tomorrow morning at around 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I'd probably say, Zan, I'm watching hockey, curling. The biathlon's also one of my personal favorites. I love the events that mix a lot of different things, though, that really test your endurance when it comes to skiing. Plus, of course, having the hand-eye coordination to be able to shoot that rifle and hit those very, very small targets. But I mean, Zan, I think I get captivated every year, though, or time, by just the spectacle of the Olympic Games, and I can, I can sink my teeth into any event that's on and, try to learn, and have an open mind going into any event. Though, I think a lot of people, and I would hope that people have open minds when they go and watch the Olympics, though, summertime, wintertime, and, maybe learn something new, though. But I would probably say, Zan, I'll stick with hockey. But I mean, I love everything about the Olympics, and I appreciate you more so, my man, for being up late at about 1 a.m. Central Time just close to 1 a.m. Central Time to check out the program here this early morning and late night here on the West Coast. Also today, folks, for Team USA, Jordan Stoltz will be chose to rest today after a great top 5 finish in the 1,500-meter event on Monday, and now will prep for his main events. I believe that will be coming up on Tuesday. Folks, this is your guy to watch. And speaking of what Zan was saying, though, speed skating is one of my favorite things. If you give me short track, I'm all in. I love the human demolition derby, almost like a little bit like roller derby, way back in the day, like in the 70s or 80s when it was on television. So I would probably say as well with speed skating too, to go to Zan's point, though. But I'll tell you what, folks. Now, I don't know if I can really name anyone other than Apollo Ano. That was my guy with speed skating. I maybe, other legendary names like way back in the 70s. I think, the name just came to me too, and I forgot it. Geez, and it's going to now haunt me now because Al Michaels told a story about him. Geez, and I got to look this up now about uh, speed skating back in '80 when Team USA obviously had the Miracle on Ice for the for that. Man, I'm sorry, folks. The name just eludes me here. For Eric Heiden, that's who it was. Jeez, God, I knew it was going to come eventually. But Eric Heiden. I think people think of Eric Heiden as being like, hey, the GOAT of USA speed skating. I would probably say Apollo Wano. Jordan Stoltz might be able to reach that point. Maybe not this year, but I think though eventually he's going to. So again, he chose to opt out to rest today after a top 5 finish in the 1,500-meter race. He's prepping now for his main events, which I believe will again be tomorrow on Wednesday, somewhere around the early window of the 7:30 time slot, 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday morning. Folks, some other thoughts here around the Olympic Games. This one, though, Nick Morgensen and I were kind of talking a bit about this off the air today. But Norwegian biathlon excellence again here with Johannes Tingnes Ba winning his 6th career Olympic gold medal, though, at the 15-kilometer individual today. However, the interview, though, that he gave was very much awkward. Apparently, he went public to announce that he was cheating on his girlfriend during the course of the games, apparently. What? Yes, Big Bob's Beepers, I agree. I'm looking to try to get more depth of that story from Awful Announcing or some of our press row sources. But it was very much a very kind of chaotic post-race interview that was being given by Johannes today after he won the medal. It was just a very, very awkward scene. With some of the scope here real quick in regards to it from the okay, so I did kind of screw this up here, folks, so I kind of apologize, but quickly here from awfulannouncing.com, Sean Keeley. So it was another Norwegian star for the biathlon. Sturla Holm Lagrid was struggling with both this week while prepping for the biathlon at the Winter Games in Milan-Cortina. He wound up winning bronze, which was cause for celebration, but he used this post-medal interview to make a really stunning confession that he had cheated on his girlfriend and that he wanted to do whatever he could to win her back. Saying in part in English to a Norwegian newspaper, I realize that this is the woman in my life and I cannot live my whole life keeping it a secret from her. My only way to solve it is to tell everything and put everything on the table and hope that she can still love me. I've done that for her and now for the whole world. I have nothing to lose, open and close quotes. Okay, so apparently this man watched the ETB Lounge on Monday to hear our good man John Ladder make his pitch for rap star Cardi B. Can we chalk that up for one of the most awkward interviews maybe of recent memory when it comes to winning or losing a match or a game? Okay, my friend, congrats on the bronze medal, and we hope that you get your girlfriend back. I mean, give me a break. I mean, just when he thought the Olympics not be any more loonier, if you ask me. Once more, again, folks, we touched base on this a little bit earlier concerning the Canadian women's national hockey team, again, who got their doors blown up by Team USA. But again, folks, to reiterate, again, Canada did play this game today without team captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, who right now is still day-to-day with the lower body injury suffered in their win over Czechia. And I did notice a little bit, though, and I kind of said my piece, though, back in the USA check-in segment here, folks. We're getting over the night. But I did think A.J. Malesko made a very great point with Kenny Albert on the broadcast today as the game wore on, and even Angela Ruggiero alongside Lindsay Zarniak made a great point, too, when the game had ended. But I think we all would agree, though, too, if this would have been the gold medal game, as we still think it will be the gold medal game with USA-Canada on the women's side for hockey, I think MPP's playing through the pain. I think you don't run the risk, as we've been kind of saying here the last 3 nights here on OFTB, concerning Lindsey Vonn, Ilya Milanin, and now here even with MPP. You maybe throw away an event. Maybe you don't give your full effort. Maybe if you are Team Canada, let MPP get ready for the run to the gold medal game and let her fight through the pain. But I still think I'd be concerned, though, if it lingers and it gets a bit more sketch. If something else pops up with maybe an MRI, maybe that she aggravates the injury, and you hope not, because, I think the last thing I would want to see or even hear, you only beat Canada because MPP didn't play. In a way, I think back to that mindset of like what Kobe Bryant had said famously about beating Boston in 2010. I didn't want to hear excuses if we didn't, if we won in 09 when they beat the Magic. And then he wound up saying in 2010, I wanted them to be at their best, and us at our best, and them at their full best. Because I wanted to hear people say, "Hey, you only won the ring because the Celtics weren't healthy." That's how I kind of feel about this in a way. As much as I would love for Team USA to win the gold medal, I'd rather them do it though with a healthy MPP and not, and not have people use the crutch. Hey, you only beat the Canadians because their best player wasn't playing, and bad. That goes back to my point, though, earlier on, though, is the USA roster, with how young they are, the young legs, are they right now outrunning the opposition who's a little bit more weary, more miles on the body? I don't know how much new life was injected into the Team Canada roster. So you hope, though, that MPP, and I do hope that she's okay. She's been a great ambassador for the game, and what she's done for the game, as we have, talked about with Hillary Knight, with Team USA. So I hope that she'll be able to come back and play. And I do think, though, here, now it gets serious. Now I'm going to fight through the pain, though, and try to play and get to that gold medal game. All righty, gang, let's get out of here for the night, though, and get you set for another day of action on Wednesday. Here is your Tomorrow from the Bench segment here with our top events that are coming up at roughly 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. Women's snowboard half-pipe qualifiers will take place. Chloe Kim of Team USA begins her hunt for a third straight gold medal. At 2:30 a.m., we have the men's Super G with Ryan Cochran-Siegel trying to repeat his podium magic. 4:15 a.m., the women's 15K biathlon kicks off today. A test of both lungs and nerves in the Anthos Valley at 4:15 a.m. 6 a.m., sharp on the dot. Women's alpine slalom runs 1 and 2. Michaela Schifrin is on the mountaintop today versus Petra Volhanov, as this is the main event of the games for Michaela Schifrin in her first run in the individual slalom events from the Alpine mountaintops. Again, at 7:30 a.m., it'll be the men's 1,000-meter speed skating event. Jordan Stoltz will go for his first individual gold of the upcoming games. 8:30 a.m., short track speed skating, the mixed team relay final with high-speed chaos with medals on the line at 8:30 a.m. The men's snowboard cross finals will be at 9:45 a.m. as Nick Baumgartner will defy age once again at 9:45 a.m. 11:15 a.m., the men's and women's moguls finals with Jalen Koff looking to turn her Beijing silver into gold for Team USA, and then the big one tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. The ice dance, free dance tomorrow. Madison Chalk and Evan Bates are back on the ice, looking to clinch individual hardware for Team USA after another great performance that saw them just outside of the top overall spot. Basically, it was called a virtual tie per Terry Gannon, Tara Lipinski, and Johnny Weir when they last competed earlier in the week on Sunday or Monday, with just a couple of points separating the top team and Team USA. So again, folks, to recap once more, for the slate on Wednesday at 12:30 a.m., snowboarding half-pipe qualifiers for the women. 2:30 a.m., the men's Super G. 4:15 a.m., women's 15 kilometer individual biathlon. 6 a.m., women's alpine slalom event runs 1 and 2. 7:30 a.m., men's 1,000-meter speed skating. 8:30 a.m., short track speed skating. 9:45 a.m., the men's snowboard cross finals. 11:15 a.m., Team USA, or I should say men's and women's moguls finals. And at 12:30 p.m., Madison Chalk, Evan Bates on the ice, figure skating, ice dance, free dance event, 12:30 p.m. on NBC and, of course, on Peacock. Tomorrow, the ice dance is for the history books, and Michaela Schifrin steps into the spotlight. The medals are getting heavier, and the rivalry with Canada is just now getting started. A huge thank you to all of our viewers and to our good man, Zambano, for chiming in the live chat box tonight. We will, again, folks, come at you again on Wednesday, back here at 10:30 p.m. for another half-hour debrief of Milan-Cortina 2026 as we roll on into what will become day number 6 of competition over in the beautiful cities of Milan-Cortina over in Italy, folks. Until next time, have a good night. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.